Being a sidekick, yeah, it's a rough gig, especially if you're a sidekick to a Dark Knight and he dresses you in bright colors. But Robin hasn't had the roughest ride as sidekick in the world of comics. That role goes to one Rick Jones. Rick Jones, the boy that Bruce Banner saved from the Gamma Bomb that turned Bruce into the Hulk in the comics, has been a perennial sidekick to some of Marvel's toughest to sidekick heroes. I mean, can you imagine being a sidekick to the ever-loving Hulk? And that was just the start of his career. Now there's rumors that comics' hardest working sidekick will finally make his way to the MCU. Let's see where he might show up. Rick Jones wrote the book in sidekicking, literally. He had a lot of experience though, and a rough start. Some origins are written in stone, completely sacred to the character, and any change to that changes the character inherently. If Bruce Wayne's parents don't get shot in Crime Alley, then Bruce just grows up to be a regular philanthropist who helps Gotham by building hospitals instead of punching weirdos. If Uncle Ben doesn't get killed by someone Peter Parker could have stopped, Parker goes on to his career in the WWE. Other origins are a little more fungible. The Hulk is one of those. There are 3 elements that make the Hulk Hulk: Bruce Banner the scientist, gamma radiation, and a rage monster that Banner can only barely control most of the time. How he got there has changed through adaptation over time. The live-action Hulk, whether it's Bill Bixby, Edward Norton, or Mark Ruffalo, is a product of self-experimentation, with the MCU version chasing that elusive super soldier serum. In the comics originally, however, Banner was testing a gamma bomb when he saw a young boy get in the blast zone and rushed to save him. He saved him alright, but exposed himself to gamma rays to become the Incredible Hulk. That boy, who became both grateful and responsible, was Rick Jones, sidekick to the Hulk. Yep, the Hulk had a sidekick. Sort of like that guy who trashes the bar when drunk has a friend who apologizes to the bartender. Only the bar is the world and the bartender is the military chasing the Hulk. Jones was even an unwitting accomplice in creating the Avengers. He had created the Teen Brigade, a group of ham radio operators that Loki messed with when Jones called the Fantastic Four to deal with a rampaging Hulk, and instead got Iron Man, Thor, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. As an honorary Avenger, he met Captain America and even convinced Cap to make him the new Bucky, until Captain America thought it was too weird to replace his World War II boy sidekick. In the comics, Bucky was a boy sidekick, meaning that Rick Jones moved on, but now had some training to live that superhero sidekick life. He was able to find another captain to hang out with, this time the Kree warrior turned protector of Earth, Captain Mar-Vell. In a way, Jones became a stand-in for Mar-Vell's secret identity, able to switch places with one another in a protective negative zone by tapping together the Negabands. After turning this Kree-Skrull war by summoning some Golden Age heroes, Jones moved on once again. He spent some time with Rom the Space Knight, one of the other Captain Marvels, hooked back up with the Hulk, and even tried to get the Runaways into foster care before the inevitable happened. He got gamma'd. It was only a matter of time, really. First, it was the goo that General Ross was using to stop the Hulk from re-emerging. Then as A-Bomb, MODOK's attempt at having his own Gamma Monster. Being between A-Bomb and Subject B, an even more disturbing Gamma Monster, he gained the ability to learn skills quickly and kinda went back to his ham radio roots as Whisperer, the hacktivist. And of course, during all that, he wrote a memoir called Sidekick. Rick Jones, he gets around. And now the rumors are that the hardest working sidekick in Marvel is making his way to the MCU. But in what form? Technically speaking, Rick Jones is already in the MCU in the same way that Doctor Strange has been in the MCU since Captain America: The Winter Soldier. As the second movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Incredible Hulk set up a lot of mean green smashing machine supporting cast, even though only General Thunderbolt Ross has carried through. When we last saw Samuel Stearns, he was getting on the maniacal side with the Gamma Goo getting in his head wound, and Black Widow capturing him in a tie-in comic. Betty Ross apparently moved on. The 2 strongest Avengers have had the hardest luck in love. And we haven't even heard from Doc Samson since. Name dropped in the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers is Banner's pal Rick Jones, who S.H.I.E.L.D. has been monitoring just in case Banner reached out to him. In fact, it's hinted that Jones, who in this universe met Banner at Culver University, knew where Bruce was hanging out. But does that mean that Rick Jones will get to play the role of sidekick to Big Green? Well, probably not. And for the same reason that the Hulk is always a guest star and never a headliner: film rights. Oh, those tricky film rights. Before the House of Mouse bought the House of Ideas, Marvel Studios was going on its own. As a young startup studio and not the juggernaut that it is now, they signed a distribution deal with Universal for all Hulk movies. Universal doesn't have the character, but they have the distribution rights to the Hulk. And that's why there's a Hulk movie stuffed inside a Thor movie like the cinema's tastiest combo snack. Fortunately, as we know, Rick Jones does get around. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has not only made a Captain Marvel in Carol Danvers, but it also has a Mar-Vell played by Annette Bening. With a Captain Marvel 2 in the works, This is a possible avenue for Rick Jones to enter the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If he were to have been Mar-Vell's assistant of some kind, the boy sidekick thing would not be his angle, since Mar-Vell was killed in 1989. But who needs a boy sidekick anyway, huh? There's a storyline that would fit the Marvel Cinematic Universe's version of Carol Danvers rather nicely, but it has nothing to do with his time as Captain Mar-Vell's safe space. The big secret that Rick Jones revealed in his role as the Whisperer was a plot by Maria Hill to take the shattered shards of the Cosmic Cube to make a new one called Project Cubic. Most of that storyline involves the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we've come to know from the ABC series. It isn't likely that the story would end the same way, however. In that story, it involves a rescue by the new Avengers and eventually an attack by American kaiju. The biggest swing and miss attempt at the super soldier serum that results in a very patriotic Godzilla-style monster. The shattered bits of the Tesseract, the MCU stand-in for the Cosmic Cube, are adrift in space when Thanos took it from Loki. But in the MCU, Mar-Vell was experimenting with the Tesseract to create faster-than-light travel, when that blew up in Carol Danvers' face and gave her faster-than-light travel instead. Since no one in the MCU can let a bad experiment lie, it could be possible that former Mar-Vell assistant Rick Jones uncovers a plan to reform the Tesseract that brings Captain Marvel back to Earth to deal with things. While there's no indication that this is the storyline, the rumor mill for Rick Jones' appearance in the MCU places him in the second Captain Marvel outing. But what if there's an introduction for the Rick Jones that's closer to home, so to speak? Like we said, The Incredible Hulk left a lot of supporting cast for the Hulk on the table, including Rick Jones himself. That movie also featured the Abomination, something that Rick Jones has more than a little unfortunate experience with. But while Bruce Banner might not be headed for a solo film or a Disney Plus series, his cousin Jennifer Walters will be getting the Disney Plus treatment. Jennifer Walters, also known as She-Hulk, is a powerful lawyer in that she is a lawyer with Hulk powers. In the comic, she gets a transfusion from her gamma-radiated cousin and gets some Hulk powers of her own. Unlike her cousin, though, she's able to come to terms with her savage smashing side and eventually even go She-Hulk full-time. Much like Bruce Banner at the end of the Infinity Saga. There are multiple ways for Rick Jones to work his way into Banner's cousin's story. Since he's been listed as contact info on the Big Green Guy himself, he might have that valuable gamma radiation knowledge. It could be that Rick Jones' understanding of Banner's Hulk problems are either key to Walters getting Hulk powers, or key to her mellowing out her Hulk powers to become the world's most intimidating lawyer. Sorry, Murdoch, move over, bro. This is another place where his hacktivist side could come out, as he is the one to reveal the bad guy plot. Maybe while Jones is fighting the good guy while Banner does the Avengers thing, and comes across a conspiracy that would release the Hulk's secret or something related. He turns to his buddy's cousin. She gets involved, shenanigans happen. She becomes the She-Hulk and defeats the bad guy. There's even a pattern, if sometimes unfortunate, that would predict that Jones could even have a bigger role. For better or worse, Marvel heroes tend to face off against people with almost identical powers in their first outing. Hulk got Abomination, Iron Man got Ironmonger, Ant-Man got Yellow Jacket, Black Panther got Killmonger. Yeah, you get the idea. In the MCU, Abomination still exists. In fact, General Ross was looking to put Abomination on the big team before Coulson set in the consultant to foul the deal. With their hands full of one Hulk, it doesn't seem likely that Ross and company would sit still for another Hulk. But they might try the Abomination fix again. It could be possible that Marvel's favorite sidekick could momentarily end up as the bad guy by becoming A-Bomb in the She-Hulk series. In the comics, the cure from being A-Bomb is what gives him the super hacker powers. So it could even end up that the story has a redemption arc where Jones helps, then fights, then helps Walters. With Cap rocking the Silver Fox look and the Avengers formed, broken up, and formed again, we're not likely to see Rick Jones in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. While he has a long association with Captain America, it's still fairly reliant on his relationship with the Hulk. There's a lot of betting that he'll join Captain Marvel in her second outing, but he does play a big role in the Kree-Skrull War. But that role is similar to the one Doctor Strange and the Masters of the Mystical Arts played in the final showdown of Endgame. He brought the backup, this time in the form of Golden Age heroes. There's no word on what the plot will be for the next Captain Marvel movie. Her story is completely tied to that conflict, especially in the MCU, where Nick Fury was last seen in the space shipyard with a bunch of Skrull shipbuilders. The She-Hulk series, however, seems like the best bet from a narrative standpoint. It would be an opportunity to connect She-Hulk to the MCU and to the Hulk story along with the characters that they already established but left behind with no second Hulk movie. She-Hulk is an opportunity to reset the big green tail, as well as pick up the unused parts. If Marvel Studios wanted to avoid or at least put a twist on the identical villain ending, then the villain of the She-Hulk series could end up being the leader himself. Since Stearns in the Hulk movie was trying to help Banner just like Jones was, their relationship could be how Jones, Walters, and the leader all come together. Rick Jones could be the bridge to the MCU that the She-Hulk needs. At the very least, it won't be Rom the Space Knight. That's some of the ways that Marvel's all-time sidekick champion might end up in the MCU. Wouldn't it be nice to see some of that unused story from the Incredible Hulk come back around? How do you want Marvel's ultimate sidekick to appear in the MCU? Let us know in the comments, and while you're there, why not hit that subscribe button and we'll become your inbox's sidekick with the latest videos. Thanks for watching.